I greet you in love and peace. At the age of 23, I walked into a small health center in the Mission Bernal Heights neighborhood of San Francisco to interview for a reproductive health specialist position, a position I thought would solely be health education until I returned for my final interview. Once the person I was shadowing pulled out the blood draw kit, my eyes bulged as I realized I would also be trained to perform medical assistant tasks. As a child who was squeamish around needles and blood, and who once fainted at the sight of vials of blood after getting my own blood drawn, the little girl within me was saying, "Really, Krissy? We about to be where every day?" I wondered if I could do it. Yes, I can, and I did. I saw the position as a unique opportunity to learn, grow, and show my little girl self that we can take on our fears as new challenges, and feelings can change towards needles and blood. Deciding to join the SF Valencia health team, I not only got a full-time job, but I also gained an extended sister family. We were all different, from different walks of life, different countries and cultures, had different preferred languages to speak. Some of us were working mamas who provided for more than self. We all honored our differences and provided our own styles of care and mentored one another, as we all took turns being trained and training the newbies on everything from protocols and documentation to how best to support someone who is experiencing intimate partner violence, to being there to support and talking to police or social services if we needed to make a report on behalf of a client or nurse. We were sisters with needles. We knew how to poke, prod, and get to the tip of things. We gave each other our arms willingly with trust to practice blood draws or injections. We would often check in with one another in between intakes to ask questions, share resources, and tips. Or if we had a hard vein and needed a master to come into the room to perform a blood draw. Our code: respect self, one another, and the clients. If you don't know or understand, never make an assumption, and check in with either the client, a provider, or team member. Ask for help and do not be afraid to yell for it. Talk to each other in the leadership team if someone, including doctors, are providing inappropriate and sensitive care. We pushed each other and held each other accountable when something came up. Overall, we all grew with one another and could always enjoy a good laugh, especially after a hard day. It would be in this small health center where the world would interact with us and us with the world. On a particular evening night clinic, time was on our side. Clients were coming on time and being seen in a timely manner. We were doing good and excited that we might break the trend of working overtime on late night clinic. It was 7:58 p.m. when the door opened, 32 minutes from closing. I was working front office, checking people in and processing paperwork. I looked up and a young woman walked in with someone. As the woman approached the front window, their friend or partner took a seat in the waiting room. The young woman looked tired and confused. She didn't have an appointment, so I gave her our scheduling sheet to fill out. She came back, and as she handed me the sheet of paper, she immediately started talking. She was pregnant and unsure of what her options or what to do. Actually, she had an idea of what she wanted to do, yet stigma and shame was preventing her from making a final decision. I told her she could always call and talk about options over the phone and schedule an appointment. Those calls generally take 15 to 20 minutes, I disclosed. She continued to talk and ask questions, even when I said it would be best to call due to lack of privacy in the front of the office. The time on the clock now read 8:10 p.m., 20 minutes until closing. We take our last client at 8 p.m. unless they are established or coming in for prescription pickup. The issue: the young woman would be a new client, and paperwork can take on average 10 minutes and at least 5 minutes to process, which means we wouldn't have time for a visit. The general rule is we only see clients in the back of the health center if they have an appointment and their charts have been processed so that we can receive billable minutes, including for counseling. At this moment, she could still receive adequate care and counseling if she called our call center to talk. However, there was a need that wasn't being met, and that was human connection, physical closeness and a space to talk that was not tainted by bias, judgment, or shame. As she stood in front of me, I felt like we had to see her. Have a seat and I can see what we can do, I stated as I walked to the lab to consult our flow coordinator about bringing her to the back of the health center for a visit that would not be documented or billed for. Concha, I know we will not get paid for counseling hours, but she just needs to talk to someone in order to make a healthy decision for herself. We can go in an extra counseling room, not all the rooms are full, and only one more visit is coming back. It will be like talking about it over the phone and scheduling, only that we'll be in the same room. We can still be out on time. Concha thought about it and then gave me the green light. So I brought April to an open counseling room where we talked. We talked about her partner, her family, her surprise at being pregnant, and her shame for not wanting to be pregnant, but knowing that she was not prepared to care for a child. She wanted to know that it was all right to have an abortion. I told her that I could provide her with medically accurate information about her options, but the decision was hers to make, and that no one could take that away from her. As I looked at a young woman who looked like me, I understood why this decision was so hard to make, especially when as a black woman, there are so many voices that are not only yours, that are floating around in your head speaking to you. And often those voices can be louder than your own. As you think about what your mom, sister, friend, community, and society will think before we can even think or listen to what we know we feel. In that moment, I felt like I was supporting and providing her space that I often found myself needing as well. A space to be able to talk freely without judgment and to know that we are worthy and deserving of care and love, even when it is just recognizing our own power to give ourselves that love and attention. After being at SF Valencia for almost 2 years, this was my last evening clinic before I would soon leave for Los Angeles to learn about reproductive justice and organizing. As I sat with April, I realized how much I was going to miss being here, creating moments of sisterhood to talk and just listen to one another, especially as I had grown up with a lack of safe spaces to talk about our health, our bodies, let alone sexual and reproductive health issues. April left that evening feeling supported and wanted to know if I would be there on the day of her visit. I told her yes. When the world moved against me with a disapproving frown, it was Sister put the ground back under my feet. Words from the song, Every Woman Ever Loved a Woman by Bernice Johnson Reagan. Sisterhood is seeing yourself in another and understanding not only your own value and worth, but the value and worth in another, in your sister. I share the story tonight of April, whose name has been changed, because at SF Valencia, we did our best to be our sister and brother's keeper and provide a space where we can all stand and be our true selves. The experience of community is crucial to wellness. In closing, I want to share a question Bell Hooks writes in Sisters of the Yam. Sisters, we need to ask ourselves, how do we greet and meet one another in daily life?